Let me start first by thanking Makkah Pharmacy, Dr. Mushfiq, Madam Shabana, for giving us the opportunity to give you some training. The purpose of today's training is twofold. Number one, to give you some key points that will distinguish the products so you get an understanding of what the main selling points are of the products. The second purpose of the training, which is most important, is for you to have a confidence yourself in the product directly. Because if you have a confidence in the product, then you'll be much more comfortable recommending it to your patients, to your friends, to your customers. Okay? So at all times during the training presentation, I'm going to bring it back to these 2 points. Now, before we get into the detail of the products, I want to give you a little bit of an overview of Quest NutraPharma. Because Quest NutraPharma isn't only doing the once-a-day range. It has many ranges in our nutraceuticals division. We're not only doing nutraceuticals, but we are doing other things as well. And the easiest way to convey that message is a video, 3-minute video, which will explain about our whole group. Then after that, we'll start going into the nutraceuticals, and in particularly the 6 once-a-day products, which is today's objective. So let me play this video. Primarily, the purpose of showing you that video is to give you an overview of the whole group. But there's one important point that I want to draw out of it today, which is the ethics behind the whole company is that we work in a niche where we combine science and nature. So in the nutraceutical division, what we're doing is we're developing natural products, but we ensure that it's backed up 100% by science in a very pharmaceutical manner. So we draw from the science part of things, the effectiveness, the manufacturing standards, the rigorous quality control testing, safety, traceability, and innovation all comes from the scientific element of the company. But from the more natural, ethical side of the company comes the fact that we're developing alternatives which are natural, that we are always trying to deliver impact naturally, obviously environmentally friendly, with ethical and personal service. So this is the key message about the group that I want you to remember in the back of your mind when you derive some confidence in the products which we create. So now let's go down into the detail of the products today. Quest has numerous ranges. We have ranges which are very technical ranges. We have ranges which are designed primarily for physicians, for specific health indications. And we also have one range, which is the once-a-day range, which we're talking about today, which is a range of essential everyday supplements. And these are popular nutritional supplements for everyday well-being and for specific health indications. Now, we will be bringing more products to the market. We'll be doing more training on those. But today, we're primarily going to talk about 6 products within the once-a-day range. Now, in this area of nutraceuticals or food supplements, there are many competitors. This I would consider as an entry-level area. We have more sophisticated ranges, which are more niche and less competition. But in this area, there is a lot of competition. And the purpose of today's training is for you to be able to distinguish between the Quest products and the competitor products. And why? Going back to those 2 things we said, you'll have more confidence in the Quest products by the end of the training, and you'll understand the unique selling points of the Quest products by the end of the training. So I always said we're going to go back to these 2 objectives for the training. Now, it's easy to break down the 6 products into 3. We have 2 multi-nutrient products, which is the multi and the Pregna multi. Then we have 2 mineral-based products, which is the iron and the calcium osteo. And then we have 2 vitamin products, which is the B complex Energy B plus C and the vitamin C 1000 milligrams, which we call Immune C. Now, I'm going to start with the multi-nutrients, and in particular, I'm going to start with once-a-day multi. Now, once-a-day multi contains a broad range of minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants. And what I need you to understand is that everything that I'm talking about here in relation to once-a-day multi will also apply to the other products. And that's why about 45 minutes into this presentation, when I'm still talking about once-a-day multi, and then you say now 45 minutes multiplied by 5 more products, I'm not going to be home for dinner. Rest assured, Once a Day Multi is the one where we're going to cover most of the detail, and then in the other products, it's just a repeat and a refresher of the concepts which apply to Once a Day Multi. Because if we talk about calcium in Once a Day Multi, when we talk about calcium in Once a Day Osteo, we're just going to copy paste and bring out the salient points. Understood? Okay. Now, in terms of the structure of the presentation, I'm going to kindly request that we'll leave all questions to the end. So if you have any questions, make a note so you don't forget them, and we'll make sure we allow some time at the end to do some Q&A. Okay? Fine. So let's go to Once a Day Multi. So before we delve down into the detail, what is the positioning of Once a Day Multi on a single page? Well, it's an everyday health and well-being product. It's a product for stress and hectic lifestyle, a product for energy, immunity, and for general detox, cell protection, and antioxidants. We're not going to go through the whole formulation, but the formulation is very comprehensive, and it contains some elements and some features and some active ingredient forms which make it very unique to other multivitamins in the market. Now, there are a number of product applications for Once a Day Multi, but I'm going to go through them in a little bit more detail, because what I want you to be able to do is to be able to sufficiently advise when a consumer might need this product. And the thing about Once a Day Multi is I'm a very strong believer that this is one of the few products in the Quest range which is applicable to the general population, especially because of the lifestyles and the diets that we have at the moment. This is a general population product, and I don't think there's a single person in this room or that comes into the pharmacy that would not derive some benefit and uplift in their life from taking a product like this. And we'll talk about it more. Now, one of the main objectives or one of the main purposes of Once a Day Multi is to prevent nutrient deficiencies. Now, what you have to understand is the type of lives that we're living now. We are prone to have nutrient deficiencies, and we struggle to gain sufficient nutrients in our everyday diet. Now, that's primarily for three reasons. Number one, our diets are increasingly getting poorer and poorer, okay? We eat more processed food, we don't have regular meals, we eat on the run, we eat out of packets or refined food. And as a result, from our general daily diet, we struggle to get an intake of our broad multi-nutrient range. Secondly, the way that food is farmed nowadays means that an orange today and an orange years ago, the nutrient profile is significantly inferior in the modern world because of intensive farming mechanisms. So even if we were not eating supermarket food and packaged food and canned food, even if we were eating fresh, it's getting increasingly difficult because of this quick, intensive farming to derive the nutrients that we need, all of the nutrients. Thirdly, we're not really having balanced diets. We all have preferences. You know, I like a little bit more meat, or I prefer more dairy. But to have a wide range of all of your requirements for the nutrients, you need to have a balanced diet. And really, it's very difficult to have a balanced diet with our preferences and the lives that we hold. And last, there are certain groups that have a higher nutrient than your general population. And for them, taking into account that already our diets are poor, already we're eating refined food, already our food are from more intensive farming methods, then when you're in a high-risk category for nutrient deficiency, it's even harder to meet your nutrient requirements. And some of those areas would be pregnant women, menstruating women, the elderly. Elderly struggle, even if they have a good diet, to digest their food and extract the nutrients from the diet. People whose diets consist of processed and refined food, vegetarians, very active people, sports people need much higher nutrient intake. Smokers, drinkers, all need more nutrients. So what does that mean? In the end, a product like Once a Day Multi is a health insurance product. It's like taking out a health insurance policy. If you take this product every day, you can go to sleep feeling that you know you've got your full spectrum of minerals, your full spectrums of vitamins, your full spectrum of antioxidants. Even if you didn't eat your apples or your broccolis or whatever, this helps the stopgap. It helps bridge the difference to cover nutrient deficiencies. Second area where a multivitamin is very important is people with high stress levels. And I would suggest that the way that our modern lives are, the pressures of finance, the pressures of decreasing sales, I saw pressure being put onto you today by Dr. Mushfiq, all of this creates stress. We live in a more stressful environment, whether we like it or not. And one of the things that stress does is it depletes the nutrients in your body. And there are certain key nutrients that you need for your body's response to stress. Things like B vitamins, things like antioxidants, vitamin C, magnesium, zinc. These are all affected by high stress levels. So in a stressful environment, or individuals who are suffering from stress, the benefit of a multi-nutrient is quite significant. So we talked about preventing nutrient deficiencies, we've talked about stress. What's next? Energy levels. Now, I just referred to Once a Day Multi as a health insurance product. And the problem in this day and age, the days of Uber, the days of Instagram, is we need instant gratification. Okay? We need something immediate. And the problem with a multivitamin and a health insurance approach to it is that we're preventing nutrient deficiency so that we don't get the implication of diseases in the long term. But that doesn't give me a benefit right now. And sometimes when a patient doesn't get an immediate benefit, they question the long-term effect of the product. When it comes to energy levels, this is where multi-nutrient actually can give you an immediate effect. So when you have patients who come in who are suffering from a bit of lethargy, poor energy, they have a stressful lifestyle, if you gave them a product like this, you would get feedback from them that they felt their energy levels had come up quite nicely. So supporting energy levels with a multi-nutrient is a nice way to give the patient an immediate benefit, albeit that there are other longer-term benefits to taking a multivitamin every day. And the way that that works is essentially on the B vitamins. When we have less B vitamins in our diet, when our B vitamins are being depleted by stressful situations, or by the way that we cook our food that contain B vitamins, we have less B vitamins. B vitamins are required to release energy from food, and as a result, we feel lethargic, we feel less active, we feel less mentally alert. So in that way, the multivitamin, which contains a wide full B complex, will support energy levels. Immune system. Again, immunity is something that affects us immediately. Okay, constantly we come down with colds, it affects our productivity. Taking a multivitamin daily that contains a wide spectrum of nutrients that support the immune system, things like vitamin C, things like zinc, things like selenium, things like antioxidants, means that you can keep your immune system at a constant level to help stay away from infections and things like that. And when many of these nutrients are depleted by stress, you can understand why often there's a link between stress and being more susceptible. So you see how these things work in collaboration. The last area in terms of purpose of a once-a-day multivitamin is antioxidant support. Now, I understand you guys all are, but let me give you a little bit of a refresh. Our cells are constantly under attack from free radicals. Free radicals oxidize our cells, and they're implicated in aging, implicated in the development of diseases. It's the oxidation of your cells effectively by free radicals. Free radicals come from a number of areas. They come from pollution. They come from some of our bad habits like smoking. They come from the environment. They also come, and they're created naturally in our body as a byproduct of some of the metabolic processes in our body. So our body is constantly having to deal with free radicals, and antioxidant nutrients, which we take generally in our diet, but which can be supplemented in a multivitamin, will protect the cells from oxidation and help keep away longer-term diseases, and aging, which is linked to oxidation by free radicals. So these are the main target areas, and I'm sure you agree that now, with my first argument, that these products have a use for general population. Now, moving on from the uses, I want to start very briefly to go through the main macro and micronutrients which are contained in a multivitamin. And as I said, some of the things I say now about a particular element or a particular nutrient will be relevant to some of the products we talk later. What we'll do first is just talk about the general benefits of these nutrients. And I'm going to start with minerals. But then what I'm going to go on later is I'm going to explain to you how Quest approaches our nutrients in a slightly different way that gives us a unique selling point of our product. So okay, let's go through this quite quickly, because I know you guys have been to training before and a lot of this is quite common knowledge. So calcium, major structural element in bone and teeth in the form of calcium phosphate. 99% of the body's calcium is found in bones, but it's not only a bone nutrient. Calcium also has an important role in muscle and nerve function, and is also important in the maintenance of blood pressure. Now, as I'm going through these, I want you to think, well, if this is the purpose of this nutrient, like calcium, then you can already start to think forward that if I have a long-term deficiency, then you can already start getting an idea of the problems that can develop, and that's what we mean by a health insurance product. The second one, which is often not mentioned very much, is phosphorus, because calcium and phosphorus work together in the form of calcium phosphates, which is the major structural element in bones and teeth. Phosphorus is also required in the energy production process because it's used in the synthesis of ATP. Magnesium is another mineral which plays an important role in energy release, but it's also involved in bone mineral metabolism, the maintenance and repair of body cells and tissue, and increasingly now the public are aware of the role of magnesium on muscle and nerve function as well. Magnesium deficiency is also associated with the development of certain heart conditions. Iron. Iron forms the heme part of hemoglobin in red blood cells. So it's very important that we avoid an iron deficiency, which can result in things like chronic exhaustion, hair loss, impaired physical function, cognitive function, and a pale complexion. But iron is also, like things like zinc and copper, which we'll get onto later, is a key element in the production of numerous enzyme and immune chemicals in the body. Zinc, often known as a mineral associated with fertility and the reproductive system, but it's also a very important component in up to 80 enzymes in the body, which are used in various metabolic and essential reactions in the human body. And each time I'm saying something, just keep remembering that if there's a deficiency, then it's going to have a long-term effect. Zinc is also known to be a very important mineral for supporting immune function. It has an important role in growth and development, particularly in cell division. It's involved in the production and release of insulin. And as I mentioned at the start, it has a role in the reproductive system, particularly for sperm count and male hormone levels. And zinc is also increasingly known as a skin nutrient as well, and is involved in healthy skin production and regeneration. There are also lots of trace minerals in Once A Day Multi, which are sometimes missing from other inferior products. Chromium is required for glucose metabolism and the control of blood fat levels. Iodine is a very essential element for growth and normal development. Manganese, also involved in growth, the reproduction process, and numerous enzymes. Molybdenum, also involved in many enzymes in the body and also has an antioxidant effect. Selenium is one of the most important antioxidant minerals and is involved also in the reproductive system, sperm formation, normal liver system, and immune system support. And copper, just like we talked about zinc and iron, is a component for major enzymes in the body required for numerous metabolic processes. Very quick 5-minute indication of what all the minerals, and here we're only talking about minerals. We'll get on to vitamins later on. So, here's a competitor product. Also contains calcium, also contains chromium, also contains iodine. So it contains the same macro and macro minerals and trace minerals, right? This is where we now get on to unique selling points. And this is the bit that I really want you to focus on. Quest exclusively uses, and that also means the minerals we use in our standalone products like Iron Plus and Osteo, we exclusively use a form of mineral called amino acid chelated minerals. And we'll go into a little bit more detail, but let's jump to the benefit. The benefit of amino acid chelated minerals are twofold. Number one, they are significantly better absorbed than other forms of minerals. And number two, they do not cause gastrointestinal side effects, such as constipation, which is closely associated with mineral supplementation. Other benefits. What are we comparing this to when we talk about the benefits? We're comparing this to inorganic mineral salts, such as fumarates, sulfates, carbonates. Now, this is the slide I typically use to explain why an inorganic mineral salt, which is on the right-hand side, is different to the Quest amino acid chelated on the left-hand side. So this is an example of iron sulfate, FeSO4. Now this is the inorganic salt form that most products will use in the marketplace. Now, what happens with this compound is when it reaches the stomach, the bond between the iron and the sulfate is very weak and it breaks down, otherwise known as dissociation. When the dissociation takes place, it means that you form a standalone mineral cation like Fe+. Okay? Now, the problem with that highly positively charged mineral cation is that it's very poorly absorbed, and because of its highly positive, it causes gastrointestinal upsets such as constipation. Now, an amino acid chelated ion is essentially an iron cation in the middle with multiple bonds to amino acids, and it forms a very stable compound. This compound stays whole in the stomach, and then it is highly absorbed in both the mineral and the amino acid receptor absorption sites in the GI tract. So we don't get a cation, which causes side effects, and we have much higher absorption. And the way I like you to think about this, and it's very much an ethos which goes back to that motto we were saying about Quest, that we're inspired by nature but guided by science. In nature, minerals exist around protein, amino acids. All we're doing with amino acid chelated form of our minerals is mimicking nature. So it's no surprise that the natural way that we take food in our diet is also the one that has the best absorption and the less side effects. You can also see it visually. On the left-hand side is an example of iron carbonate. You can see an iron cation identified with the arrow, which is stuck to the villi, which is causing the poor absorption and causing the GI side effects. And on the right side is used amino acid chelated iron. And there, the villi is absolutely clean, and you can't see any cations there stuck, causing any problems. Distilling this down to the patients, what you get is, through a number of clinical trials which are referenced here, you can get 3 to 4 times greater bioavailability. So this particular study saw that the bioavailability of amino acid chelated iron was 90%, 26% for iron sulfate. Of bioavailability, but you're getting 3 to 4 times greater absorption, which we talked about. You're getting better mineral retention from mineral acid chelated. And as a result of that, antioxidants are more effective at lower doses. So take one example, this particular study. There were two groups. The first group was given amino acid chelated iron, 15 milligrams, and the other group of pregnant women were given 40 milligrams of elemental iron, but from an iron sulfate source. And when they studied the iron depletion over the same period between the two groups, they saw that the iron depletion during the pregnancy for the group taking the amino acid chelated iron was significantly less than the one taking the inorganic compound or inorganic salt form of iron sulfate, even though it was at a lower elemental dose. So we're talking 15 milligrams versus 40 milligrams, and the 15, it wasn't even that they were on a par, the 15 milligrams was even more effective at reducing the iron depletion in the pregnant woman group. Another way of looking at it is when you would do a measurement of uptake in ppms. So again, the first column is the chelate, which is the amino acid chelate, and you can see that the uptake from the chelate is significantly higher if you look across from copper than the sulfate, oxide, or carbonate. Also for the case for magnesium, iron, and zinc. So the key message here is that Quest exclusively uses amino acid chelated minerals, and the mimicking nature, we get better absorption and less side effects. Now let's just take a little break and say, okay, fine, and maybe we'll look at it from this multi. So here we have the once a day multi, and here we have another very reputable brand of a multivitamin. And when I look at all the sources here of the minerals, zinc oxide, copper oxide, manganese sulfate, chromium chloride, ferrous fumarate, calcium carbonate, all inorganic salt forms, all with low absorption and higher side effects. Okay. So now we've talked about the minerals, let's move on to the vitamins. So again, we'll do this in two stages. The first stage is we'll just quickly rattle through the benefits or the purposes of each of the vitamins, and then we'll go on and talk about how Quest takes a different approach to formulations. So B vitamins we already talked about, support the generation of energy from food. They're required for the optimal functioning of the nervous system, and they're particularly prone to depletion during times of stress or increased mental and physical activity. Vitamin E is an oil-soluble vitamin, forming often the fatty part of the cell membrane, so it's important in the maintenance of cell structure. It also has a role in heart health and skin. Vitamin D is the deficiency of vitamin D is implicated in a wide variety of diseases, but it's particularly known for its impact on bone health and immune health. Vitamin C is required for the synthesis of collagen, so as a result of that, it's important for skin health, joint health, particularly for the maintenance and regeneration of cartilage and joint tendons. Vitamin C also has a role in skin and wound health, wound healing. It has high vitamin C blood levels are also associated with lower blood pressure, plays an important role in its antioxidant function to protect the eyes, prevention of cataracts, and prevent from age-related degeneration, macular degeneration. It also plays an important role in the immune system and maintaining joints and general body cells through its antioxidant effect. And it also, as we mentioned earlier, has an important role in stress, particularly through its formation of anti-stress hormones. Now, there are nutrients called antioxidants, and we talked about how antioxidants protect from oxidation, from damage by free radicals. So here, because they're typically either vitamins or minerals or vitamin-like substances. So in terms of the antioxidants which are contained in a multivitamin like Quest Once a Day, on the vitamin side, vitamin C and vitamin E are the prime antioxidant vitamins. Selenium, zinc, manganese, and copper are the prime mineral antioxidants. But there's also a group of antioxidants known as carotenoids. And carotenoids are found in plant pigments. So when you see the red of an orange, that pigmentation is very rich in carotenoids. And carotenoids are nature's most active antioxidants. And often you will not find carotenoid-based antioxidants, or at least a wide spectrum of carotenoid-based antioxidants in a multi-nutrient. So this is another unique selling point of the Quest Once a Day. Carotenoid-based antioxidants, vitamin-like substances like beta-carotene, alpha-carotene, cryptozanthin, zeaxanthin, and lutein. Lutein in particular is known for its antioxidant effect for the eyes. But the others, especially zeaxanthin, cryptozanthin, alpha-carotene, and beta-carotene, also have incredible potent antioxidant activity to prevent against aging and the implication of diseases from oxidation of cells through free radicals. Okay, so we've talked about minerals, we've talked about vitamins, we've talked about antioxidants, and we went off on a little how in the form of minerals, Quest uses a very unique, natural, identical form of minerals for good absorption and less side effects. The other big USP, which I really want you to take a moment to focus on, is what we call biobalance. Now, biobalance is just a marketing way to explain that when Quest makes a formulation, we again learn from nature and formulate a synergistic, balanced formulation which is highly superior to cheaper supplements on the market. Now, the basis of this is, first you have to understand that naturally nutrients live in synergy and competition. They live in synergy positively and they live in competition negatively. And when Quest formulates any product, we will take into account the synergies and the competition to make sure that we develop a unique, fully effective product. So the positive way that we would work this in a formulation is if one primary nutrient can have a better effect by including a second nutrient, we will always combine them together. The other way is that if one prime nutrient will cause a problem with a second nutrient, we will always make sure we include, sure that we don't create a deficiency indirectly. Let me give you actual examples. So in the positive way that it would work, let me use this example. If I was to take an orange and I was to cut it and analyze it, I would find lots of nutrients, but I would definitely find vitamin C and I would find bioflavonoids. And that is because vitamin C and bioflavonoids coexist together in nature. Now, if I was to now develop a product to supplement with vitamin C, I would be foolish not to learn from nature's example and combine vitamin C and bioflavonoids together. What science shows is that bioflavonoids can increase the absorption and utilization of vitamin C by up to 35%. So if it's good enough for nature, why not also for a vitamin C supplement? The second way is negatively. Now, iron and copper, this is the example I'm going to use, they work also in competition. When you take a high amount of iron in a supplement, these use the same absorption receptor sites for absorption as copper. So when you flood yourself with an iron supplement, for example, during pregnancy, as a result and inadvertently, you cause less copper to be absorbed from your diet. So indirectly, you can address an iron deficiency, but you can create a copper deficiency by accident. So if you're going to take a holistic, balanced, bio-balanced approach to your formulation, whenever you include iron, you should also include copper. Because the worst thing we do for our patients is if we give them an iron supplement, And indirectly, we're going to cause a copper deficiency. And as we saw, copper is required for the formation of more than 80 different enzymes in the body. So we don't want to create a copper deficiency. So this is how things work in balance. And again, I'll just take a little side, and maybe I'm preempting the later products, but we'll repeat it again. Here we have 2 iron products, and I can assure you that neither of them contain copper. I don't understand. If it's good enough for nature, it should be good enough for your product. If you're going to give someone iron and cause them a copper deficiency by accident, why not include copper in the formulation? Quest seems to be the only one in the market that combines them together. And same with vitamin C. If you look at the vitamin C competitors, none of them contain bioflavonoids. But if it's good enough for nature, and if it makes the vitamin C more effective for the consumer, why wouldn't you include them together? And this is what I mean by biobalance. Now, biobalance works in a number of ways. I'll rattle through them. Going back, what were the main objectives? I'm going to give you confidence in the products. So you have to have confidence that Quest has done the thinking. So you know that Quest has come up with a formulation that's going to cause the least side effects and have the most benefit for the patient, because we have these principles, and I've shown you a few examples. So you don't need to learn these one by one. I just want you guys to have the confidence that I'm giving my customer a superior, more effective product by giving them a Quest product. And I gave you a few examples of why. But just for the completion, iron and zinc absorption is also enhanced by copper, so we include copper in the formulation both positively and negatively to avoid a deficiency. The absorption of iron is also enhanced by the inclusion of certain B vitamins and by vitamin C. The utilization of iron in the body, once it's absorbed, is also increased by molybdenum. Absorption and effectiveness of calcium is increased by vitamin D. Absorption and utilization of zinc is increased with the inclusion of vitamin B6. Magnesium assimilation and utilization is also increased by vitamin B6. The antioxidant activity of selenium is increased by combining it synergistically with vitamin E. And as we talked about earlier, vitamin C and bioflavonoids work synergistically to increase the bioavailability of vitamin C by 35%. So this is what I mean by biobalance. It works in many ways, and later on when we go through the other products, I'll draw them back out again. So to give me a break, to drink some water and to cough, I'm going to play this video just as a final recap.
Once a Day Multi by Quest. Once a Day Multi is a convenient, comprehensive supplement for everyday well-being. The quick-release tablets support your dietary intake and contribute to the reduction of tiredness and fatigue. Once a Day Multi encourages the normal functioning of your nervous and immune systems, as well as maintaining your skin and hair. Its comprehensive formula of 40 essential vitamins, minerals and nutrients supports the body's energy levels and the maintenance of bones and cartilage. It is suitable for vegetarians and is free from dairy, gluten, GM ingredients, nuts and added sugar. So stay healthy and active. Once a Day Multi by Quest. Inspired by nature, guided by science.
So let's go through now Once a Day Pregna Multi. Obviously, it says what it does on the tin. It's a pregnancy multi-nutrient. It has a very comprehensive formulation. Contains 24 nutrients in all. It's recommended both for women planning a pregnancy, during the pregnancy, and after, also while breastfeeding. And it combines 11 vitamins, 11 minerals, and 2 additional antioxidant nutrients. In terms of the formulation, it contains 15 milligrams of iron, which, as we know, is very important for fetal development and growth, and particularly because iron requirements are higher during pregnancy. It contains 400 micrograms of folic acid, which supports healthy fetal development and reduces the risk of neural tube defect. It contains 198 milligrams of calcium, which is part of helping for the proper development of the skeleton of the fetus. Particularly in the third trimester, 300 milligrams is recommended. And the antioxidant nutrients such as beta-carotene, selenium, vitamin C, and vitamin E, they can reduce the risk of pregnancy-related hypertension and preeclampsia. But more importantly, the reason why every pregnant woman needs to take a multi-nutrient is that there is a direct correlation between the multi-nutrient intake during pregnancy and the birth weight of the baby. And as we know, a higher birth weight is, or let's put it the other way, a lower birth weight is associated with more risks and complications than a higher birth weight. So it's also important for high birth weight. The product also contains a B complex, which is important for providing energy and vitality during the pregnancy. And we all know that energy levels can be sapped at various trimesters during the pregnancy. It also contains a decent amount of vitamin C and selenium, which support the immune system, which can often be compromised during pregnancy. And the other USP of this product is that it excludes vitamin A during the pregnancy period, which often is caused, or vitamin A is often associated with birth defects or liver toxicity. Now, as I said, there's going to be a lot of repeat. So the first point from this that makes our product unique is the amino acid chelated minerals, particularly important because compliance during pregnancy of supplementation is often reduced, particularly because already pregnant women have a tendency of constipation, and then when you take a supplement like iron in an inorganic compound form, in an inorganic salt form, it can worsen the constipation. So here, with the Quest product, we know that we're giving them a gentle form of iron which will not cause constipation. And we know it's much more better absorbed and more effective at lower doses. In terms of the biobalance, all of the same biobalance that we talked about earlier in once a day multi also applies here. So I won't go through in detail, but rest assured that the same balancing of all the nutrients, both positively, synergistically, and negatively in terms of taking into account nutrient competition, are all taken into account by the research and development team when they come up with the formulation.
Once a day by Quest. Once a day Pregna Multi is a high potency tablet which includes 24 essential nutrients. It is a comprehensive formula recommended for women planning to either conceive or that are already pregnant, breastfeeding, or expressing. Not only does it support dietary intake, it also promotes the optimal health and nutrient intake of the mother during pregnancy. After conception, it encourages healthy growth and development of the baby and supports the mother's nutrition, immune system, and energy levels. Once a day Pregna Multi is suitable for vegetarians and is free from dairy, gluten, GM ingredients, nuts, and added sugar. So stay healthy and active. Once a day Pregna Multi by Quest. Inspired by nature, guided by science.
Okay, so we finished the multi-nutrient section. Now we're going to talk about the two mineral-based products. Again, repeating myself, there's a lot of repetition, but it will get there eventually. We're going to have a lot of the same themes that we talked about in the earlier part of the presentation. So let's talk about once a day osteo. Obviously, it's a bone product, but the two categories who are more susceptible to bone loss and the risk of the onset of osteoporosis are seniors, the elderly, and also women, particularly after the onset of the menopause and the reduction in estrogen levels in the body. So the formulation contains, each tablet provides 1,330 milligrams of calcium amino acid chelate, which provides an elemental amount of calcium of 330 milligrams. We don't need to go through all the detail, but we know that calcium and vitamin D are not only important for the maintenance of normal bones, but also for teeth and for muscle function. And most importantly, supplementing with a combination of calcium plus vitamin D will reduce the risk of bone fractures and the risk of the progression of osteoporosis, particularly in the elderly and in women of menopausal age and older. Again, as we've talked about for the other minerals, the mineral is in amino acid chelated form. Up to 50% more calcium 50% more calcium is retained in the bone from amino acid chelated form versus calcium carbonate, which is your standard form. And the vitamin D is included as part of the biobalance theory behind Quest formulations because vitamin D strongly enhances the absorption of calcium. Now, one side point to note here that the amount of vitamin D in osteo is not sufficient to deal with a vitamin D deficiency. Its purpose is as a synergistic nutrient to work in biobalance with the calcium. If a patient has a vitamin D deficiency, then they need a standalone vitamin D supplementation. And another video.
Once a Day Osteo by Quest. Once a Day Osteo is a high-strength calcium formula for seniors and postmenopausal women. Once a Day Osteo contains a superior amino acid chelated form of calcium combined with vitamin D. It helps to maintain normal bones and teeth, supporting the body's blood calcium levels, and reducing the risk of bone fractures, bone loss, and the progression of osteoporosis. 3 tablets daily is recommended. It is suitable for vegetarians and is free from dairy, gluten, nuts, GM ingredients, and added sugar. So stay healthy and active. Once a Day Osteo by Quest. Inspired by nature, guided by science.
I think the point we just want to remake on this product is that it's not just for osteoarthritis. We have to think a little bit broadly and think it's also a product for the menopause and also a product for seniors. Okay, so the second mineral product that we're going to talk about now is Iron Plus. Obviously, Iron Plus is a product to deal with iron deficiency, so as a result of that, or higher iron requirements, so as a result of that, it's a product for energy, for pregnancy, and for general women's health. Now, the main point I want you to take away from iron is the fact it's called Iron Plus. Now, there are no other iron formulations on the market that have a formulation with 12, 13 lines like this. If we look at some of the products on the market, or the one sample we have here, we have one product here which is iron with some calcium, and here we have iron with some folic acid, vitamin B12, and vitamin C. So when it comes to the Quest Iron product, it is absolutely a Rolls-Royce iron supplement because we've completely looked at a holistic formula, which we'll talk on later. Now, the main indications are for people who have an iron deficiency or people who have a higher iron requirement, for example, women during menstruation. It also helps to combat fatigue and provide energy because, as we know, iron deficiency and anemia has an effect on energy levels. It's suitable for pregnancy, especially to supplement a multivitamin with some additional iron requirements. Now, let me go through why the formulation of iron is so comprehensive. For a start, the iron supplements are often used in a situation where the patient is suffering from lethargy or fatigue. So the first reason we include the B vitamins is that B vitamins, as we talked about earlier, are involved in the release of energy from food. And usually in individuals who are suffering from fatigue, they have low B vitamin status. So we've included B vitamins together with iron to create a much more premium energy support product. However, we've also included folic acid and B12, which are part of the B complex group, because they're required for normal red blood cell metabolism. So it works synergistically with the iron to ensure that your red blood count and the iron levels go up. We've talked about copper. Copper is not only vital for the transport of iron to the site of red blood cell formation, but it's also a synergistic and balancing nutrient, because iron supplementation can reduce copper levels, as we said. So to maintain copper levels while supplementing with iron, you must also include copper. And the two formulations from the marketplace that we picked up just as props today, neither of them contain copper. And that reason alone should be a reason we don't recommend this product to patients, because it doesn't contain copper. And now you understand that iron supplementation causes a copper deficiency. Vitamin C is also a synergistic nutrient because it strongly enhances the absorption of iron by forming more absorbable iron ascorbic complex. And molybdenum is included because it's a component in enzymes which are responsible for the utilization of iron. So we're not only thinking about the iron being absorbed, but we're also thinking about the fact that if we include molybdenum, it will be much more effectively utilized within the body. And then again, the amino acid chelated form of iron under our little bioabsorb marketing means that it is absorbed better and doesn't cause gastrointestinal upset, up to 4 times better absorbed than iron fumarate, which means that 15 milligrams of iron in the Quest iron is equivalent to 200 milligrams of ferrous sulfate, if not more. So now we're down to our last category of vitamins. These are the standalone vitamin products. And in that category, we have a B complex, energy B plus C, and we have vitamin C. So energy B plus C, for the same reasons we've talked about earlier in the presentation, is for energy and is for people with a stressful and a hectic lifestyle. The bit on this formulation which I want you to see is that it contains 500 milligrams of additional vitamin C. So this is not just a standard B complex formulation. It also gives you 500 milligrams of vitamin C, which we know works synergistically with the B vitamins to address high levels of stress. So the product applications are energy support and for a hectic and stressful life. Why is that? Well, on the stress side, blood levels of B vitamins are lower in individuals suffering from stress. B vitamins are required for the optimal functioning of the nervous system because, for example, they're a precursor to neurotransmitters. And the vitamin C component of energy B plus C helps the body's response to stress. In terms of supporting energy levels, it's the same principles again. B vitamins are essential for the release of energy from food. This product is a quick release tablet, and it's a fully comprehensive B complex with vitamin C. And we have a video on this one as well.
Once a Day Energy B plus C by Quest. Once a Day Energy B plus C is a quick-acting formula in an easy-to-swallow tablet. It provides a full spectrum of B vitamins plus added vitamin C. It helps to reduce tiredness and fatigue through supporting energy levels in your body, and also promotes the normal functioning of your nervous system. One tablet daily is recommended. Once a Day Energy B plus C is suitable for vegans and vegetarians, and is free from dairy, gluten, GM ingredients, nuts and added sugar. So stay healthy and active. Once a Day Energy B plus C by Quest. Inspired by nature, guided by science.
We're down to our last product. once a day Immune C. So this is a 1,000 milligram vitamin C product for immunity, hectic lifestyle stress, detox and cell protection, and also for the benefit of skin, hair, and nails. Here, you can see from the formulation that we've included citrus bioflavonoids, which we talked about earlier, synergistically. So it combines citrus bioflavonoids, which helps the absorption of the primary nutrient, which is vitamin C. The other point that you have to take for this product is that it's a timed release tablet. Now, when you deal with supplementation of water-soluble vitamins in high strength, you have a problem that the body's ability to absorb within a certain time frame is limited. So what you need to do for water-soluble vitamins, which are high strength, for example, 1,000 milligrams in this case, you need to present the product as a timed release or sustained release product. Immune C is a timed release product. It releases the vitamin C over 6 hours. So it maximizes the ability of the body to absorb vitamin C from the tablet. Now, this is where we can contrast it to the most common way that vitamin C is taken in the marketplace, which are the effervescents. Now, there's two problems with an effervescent product. Number one, the easier one, is that none of them contain bioflavonoids. So this is all about a superior product with enhanced absorption. But the biggest problem of the effervescents is by their very nature, they're a rapid release and they do a quick tissue saturation. But as a water-soluble vitamin, your body can't absorb all the vitamin C in such a short time. So majority of the vitamin C in an effervescent will be excreted. When you take a timed release tablet like Immune C, you're going to have a prolonged release and as a result, a much higher absorption. In terms of the uses of vitamin C, it's an antioxidant nutrient, so it's all about protecting cells from oxidative stress and also collaboratively supporting the functioning of the immune system. Low levels of vitamin C are associated also with cardiovascular disease. Vitamin C is an important component of collagen, so as a result, vitamin C deficiency can have issues with skin, gums, teeth, and cartilage. Vitamin C, as we talked about in iron, can enhance the absorption of iron. And generally, it's an antioxidant nutrient that can protect, for example, the eyes from antioxidant damage from free radicals. So here we are, just summarizing the points we made. Bioflavonoids is a synergistic nutrient, and timed release is the absorption mechanism, which makes it far superior than effervescents on the market. Short video.
Once a Day Immune C by Quest. Once a Day Immune C is a high-strength vitamin C supplement that contributes to the protection of your cells from environmental and oxidative stress. The supplement primarily supports your immune system. It also supports your nervous system, skin, hair, gums, and reduces tiredness and fatigue. The formula also contains bioflavonoids, which enhances the absorption of vitamin C by the body, and a unique timed release tablet that releases these nutrients over 6 hours to maximize its effectiveness. 1 tablet daily is recommended. Once a Day Immune C is suitable for vegans and vegetarians and is free from dairy, gluten, GM ingredients, nuts, and added sugar. So stay healthy and active. Once a Day Immune C by Quest. Inspired by nature, guided by science.
Okay, so that covers the 6 products, but I want a little review to recap everything again. But this time, I want to think of it from a selling perspective, okay? So here, we're now looking at the potential benefits of making sure that we match the right product to the right patient. Because one of the things that I've learned is it's very easy to sell the first box. But if the patient doesn't derive a benefit from it, they will never buy the second box or the third box, or they won't take your advice again. So it's very important in a sales environment, which is backed up by a profession such as pharmacy, that we make sure we match the right products. So let's just go through again the typical types of customers for which these products would be suitable. Well, let's get rid of Pregnamulti because that's easy. Okay, so we can leave that aside. But the only thing I would add there is that a pregnancy multivitamin should also be recommended during the planning of pregnancy and also afterwards during breastfeeding. When it comes to once a day multi, this is a general population product. There is not a single person with the lifestyles and diets that we have at the moment who would not benefit from such a health insurance product. In terms of giving someone an immediate benefit, we touched on the fact that it will improve your energy levels, but generally it will support your immune system, make you less susceptible to infections, colds, flus. It can help support mental alertness and dealing with stress and a hectic lifestyle. But again, it all comes down to the fact that it's a health insurance product that means you can be guaranteed that you're taking all the vitamins and minerals regardless of the diet that you have. Now, obviously, a balanced diet should be the first objective, but nowadays that's becoming increasingly difficult. So this product is a general population product, and really everyone in this room should be taking it. That's an easy sell. In terms of the minerals, it's very simple. Your osteo product is your calcium supplement, your iron is your iron supplement. We know when you need to indicate each one. The only thing I would say is that the osteo product, you should also particularly highly recommend it to menopausal women and the elderly. That is its key importance, not just generally for bones, but for the bones of elderly and for the bones of menopausal women. And in terms of an iron supplement, what I want you to take away from this product is this is not an iron supplement. Calling it iron is actually doing it an injustice. It is Iron Plus. It is an absolute Rolls-Royce, highly effective product which will not cause side effects. And it's on another level to the iron supplements from the market that are competing. On the vitamin side, Energy B plus C, it's where someone needs real energy levels, real support for their energy levels. So this is not someone who's feeling a little bit lethargic where the multivitamin will be sufficient. This is where someone is feeling chronic fatigue. And then lastly, vitamin C is your typical well-known antioxidant nutrient, has a very wide application, also very supports immunity or at the times of colds and flu. But again, with Immune C, we have a highly premium product over the effervescent competitors. So it's very important that you take away these USPs. Again, let's go all the way back to the start. I want you to have a confidence in the product, and I want you to understand a few selling points which we've now gone through.